Hey, it's Friday and I'm back.
Hi, Tim.
Tim is back.
I'm Tim. I couldn't remember your name. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's been a while.
It has. This is me, Lee Strauss.
He's back. Yes.
All right, and that is Tim James, and we're in the spot tonight, and we got Mackenzie coming on. She is a co-author and co-producer of The Unseen Realms, the unexplained, explaining the unexplained. She has her own podcast, and she has been on with no less than George Norrie and many other podcasts as well, and radio shows, by the way. So we are going to be welcoming her in tonight to talk about consciousness and how she got into what she's doing now. Because I want to know, because I'm an inquiring mind. You remember that from like way back in the 70s?
Yep.
Remember that?
I do.
Okay. Well, that's what's happening tonight.
Okay.
That's what's happening tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro. I'm going to tell you a very quick story after we roll the intro, okay? So let's do that.
Oh, dear Lord, it's these two ass clowns again. Well, now that you're here, you might as well sit down and get comfortable.
Welcome to the dimension of the unknown, where the imagination reigns supreme, crafting worlds and realities that defy the limitations of our mortal coil. Beyond the veil of reality, there exists a realm that defies the boundaries of human perception. Certain places beckon with an otherworldly allure, stirring the senses and whispering secrets of a dimension that lies just beyond the threshold of our mundane existence. The air is alive with an electric anticipation, as if the next step might unravel the very fabric of reality, plunging us into an abyss from which there is no return. This realm is a boundless expanse, as infinite as the cosmos and as timeless as the ages. It inhabits the twilight zones of existence, where the glow of knowledge and the shadows of ignorance entwine like lovers in a cosmic dance. Here, the rational and the mystical converge, suspended between the depths of human terror and the pinnacle of our understanding. Welcome to Element 115.
Okay, first off, that was my bad. I said Mackenzie and I meant Mercedes. I don't know why the heck that happens with me sometimes. Anyway, so it's Mercedes. She'll be on here in a minute. Quick story. So I was camping last week, brought all my stuff home, brought it in the house, laid it all down. The next day, I saw a spider, big one too, like run from my camping equipment underneath my couch. I don't know where that sucker is, but I'll tell you what, I am freaked out right now. That thing is running loose in here somewhere, and I hope it doesn't end up in my bed.
Oh, dude.
Oh, talk about a nightmare. Thank you very much, Kitty Cat Whack, for the super sticker. We really appreciate that. Remember, if you guys do donate, all of that money goes to Spaced Out Radio, and I appreciate it very much. Let's bring Mercedes in.
Hi.
Hello, Mercedes.
Hello, I'm Mackenzie tonight.
I have no idea where that came from. I don't.
Right.
Oh, very sorry.
You said the Lucky right. That was good. See, well, I think you said my name. It's Mercedes Lucky Benedict. But I like the name Mackenzie. I think that could be my nickname.
That's just my bad. That's just my bad.
It's all
You know,
right.
very
It's all right. No worries.
Anyways,
Whole interview.
so
I just can't do this anymore. Sorry.
yeah, we seem to be losing your audio a little bit.
Oh no. Okay. So
Is there a
see,
way you
that's
can
what
turn
was
up your
working.
mic?
Yeah, so I've got everything on. Can you hear it? Is that better?
I think it's your audio seems to be coming through your camera. Is that possible and not your mic?
Well, I have all my mic stuff on. It should be coming from here.
Okay. Well, we'll just roll with it.
Yeah, I can talk louder.
That works.
Oh, yeah, it does. But you have been around for quite a while.
A little while, yeah.
Yeah, I would
I've been
say.
a long time on the planet.
That's not what I meant, but
So this is starting off really good.
It's all right. It's all right.
So yeah, but you've been doing your thing for quite a while. You've had your podcast going on for quite some time too, it
Yes.
seems, and you've been in the paranormal field for I don't know how long.
Not long, actually, but long enough.
Okay. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got into all this?
Okay. Well, it actually started with some car accidents that I had, and there's a bug flying in here. So these car accidents, they really started the paranormal journey in a way, because I almost died in the first one. It was a rear-ending, like a car crash that totaled my car, and I should have really died. And it was that moment that it was like an out-of-body experience. It was I always thought of it as like a near-death experience, because it felt like I died. It felt like I was lifted up out of my body to where I was projected up and out, looking down on what was happening. And it was a very chaotic, horrifying scene that happened with me in the car. And at that time, I was pretty much not able to walk. It was really bad. So the doctors had went into all that stuff, and they really couldn't help me. So it was a very bad time for me. And then I ended up meeting or having a friend that was a really well-known doctor. And a little bit after they had not been able to really help me, he said, well, Mercedes, why don't you let us try to help you? And so it was pretty soon after that moment that I was in another car accident where my son and I were in the car, and we should have died. We were rolling in San Simon in New Mexico, and rolling the car like 13, 14, 15 times.
Oh.
But at that time, I felt, I was on another show today, and I liked how I said that. It felt like, it just felt like a bubble of protection, like literally an energy vortex bubble around us. And while we were, rolling, I mean, I should have been feeling that, right? But I didn't. I felt secure and cocooned in this, as if it was a safety bubble for me and my son, Kristen. And so that was one of the times where everything was completely, the whole car was just totaled, glass everywhere, but we were fine. He had one cut. I didn't have anything. And so I didn't re-injure anything. So this was the beginning of, I already knew that something had happened on the first one, because that's when I started getting these abilities. And it wasn't like all fun and roses. It was like, because I was dealing with horrible things at that time, but I was starting to get images or pictures of, things around me or in the body, like other people's bodies. I would get near a person, or a person, like I would be anywhere near a person working on them, or I really wasn't working that much at that time, but it was starting to be like I was tuning into these people in ways I had never ever experienced. And so it just kept going from that moment on. And that's when, as I started to heal, I was working with this particular doctor who just so happened to be like just amazing, like a real healer, like almost a Star Wars type person. So he would say to me, like, is this what you're seeing? I would say, I'm seeing lights in the body, like interesting, very lights that where pain would be. And so he'd show me a book and he'd say, "Is this what you're seeing?" And this was like etheric field lights of an artist that I can't remember the name of this artist, but, and I said, "Yes, it's exactly what I'm seeing." So it was the beginning of a paranormal journey. And I was talking today about how it was always such a almost a really nice experience. The energies and the spirits were always very healing and very nurturing. And there were times, I know that we had talked about this before, Lee, where with your what happened with you, I do feel like there were star people working with me as well. And as I began to be working with people, it was very clear that this was outside projection coming in. And a lot of the people that I was around was really lucky. I was like in the mecca of the Tucson, like we could call them elite. I don't know. The Tucson major people, like my doctor I worked for that helped me, he was world renowned. So I always say to myself, there is no way. I mean, I don't know how I got where I got, because I was like, my life was an actress, a singer. I did shows, we did radio, I did performing, I write music, I performed music. That was really my goal in life. And I went through a divorce, and that's when it was like, after that, things were really, I think there was a dark force that after me. There was things that were happening that were very dark. And those car accidents, I think they were aimed at me to not make it. I just didn't realize it at the time like I do now. And so I think everything happened for a reason to catapult me off of one life that I actually loved, except I was stressing out, and then into a new life. And that's how I had to get there. It wasn't easy, but that's what happened. And I ended up staying at this doctor's office just till 2 years ago, and he retired. So I was literally, when the pandemic hit, my plan was to, I still was trying to sing and do that. I was still trying to record, but I didn't have any ideas of a show again. I was planning on continuing with the next level after he retired, and we were going to go do what's called Regenesis Tucson, where I would be head of that department, because I was head of the TMJ department, where I was the body worker and worked on all of our patients from wherever they come from. And that could have been, I got all kinds of bugs flying in here, go away. So it was really weird. Like when the pandemic hit, everything was just shut down. So I'm like, wow. But, I had already been doing my remote view work with the doctor, with our patients. And then I had already started where I was working on clients outside of work remotely with people across country. One man was in Japan. People would just call me. It was more of a referral, references for me. So I'd already begun doing that. And then when the pandemic hit, it was at the same time that we have on haunted property. We have very, very haunted property. I think right now we're doing amazing. I mean, but we had, I did 10 years. I've been here 10 years. So there's 10 years of research on all that happened here. And that's when I created, last year I finished the documentary Shadows of the Desert, and it will be out. And it talks about all the paranormal things that happened, all the research that we did, or I did. But so it was like the Dead Files, we were on that, and that was a big deal. I think that's when people started, my story was out. I was very secluded on recluse, or whatever. We didn't talk about what I did. It was very much, just private. And the Dead Files did put us out there, especially me, because my other family doesn't really they don't really talk about it.
Right.
But it put me out there. And so I started then. I didn't start talking right away. I only started talking about the paranormal after Dead Files. It was after our deliverances and exorcisms the following year with Bill Bean. So I literally kind of little by little you'd started to hear about me, and then the remote viewing started picking up, and so people just started to kind of know or see what I was doing, because I was talking about it after the good things that happened to us and the things that we were experiencing were getting better. And so that's basically kind of how it all began in this in the paranormal life type thing that I have.
That's an incredible story. It seems like tragedy, though, has brought a lot of people to this space where you're at now. You know,
Yeah.
there's one tragedy where, you know, somebody has been in an accident and has suffered greatly, and they come out of it somehow spiritually stronger than when they went in. That actually happened with my father as well.
Okay.
But not quite to your extent.
Right.
Definitely not to your extent. And I see so much transformation in this world right now. It seems like a lot of people are starting to wake up to consciousness, right? And to the going back to our roots, and it's kind of almost like putting aside technology and really starting to focus in on, you know, not so much hauntings or that sort of thing, but more just into consciousness and what we are really, you know what I mean? Like what we are at our essence, and really looking into that sort of thing. Have you found that to be the case lately?
I have, and you know, but then you see that there's other people that, you know, they are not really wanting to look into, you know, the open possibilities of the higher self. But you know, truly, I believe on my journey. Are you guys hearing me? Okay, I can talk.
Yes.
I absolutely do have an air conditioner right there running. I could turn it off if you need me to. But yeah, I did notice along the road, there would be times when people I would run into, and like they had similar like horrific things happen in their life that brought them to a space similar to mine. And I was always kind of making note. It seemed to be around the same time frames as mine. And I thought, wasn't that interesting? It was a lot of people. And so I was thinking, like, it must be that there are times when a lot of us on our journey that are awakening, that are understanding there's more to our lives than just right here on earth, you know, just this space. I think we came into, a lot of us came into different times when we wake up, or when we're looking and seeing, or when, you know, somebody asked me a question today about, you know, do you think everybody will be able to, do you think everybody sees spirits, or could they understand these things? And I do believe that this is the time when the veil is, as you probably heard this before, the veil is thinner. I mean, we are starting to see things that, otherworldly things that we couldn't have seen before. And yes, does that have maybe to do with CERN or different things like that? Or, you know, people are playing with the God and with the universe and things like that right now. So yes, and plus, is it time? Is it the time for them to start coming here? Yes. I mean, all of that, I think they're just waiting for us, more of us, to be open to this. And one of the things I am doing now is I've been enjoying this. Is new for me, because I didn't want to teach what I did, really, because I didn't want to give away my secrets for so long. It was my work, my private space, you know. But I was guided to actually really start teaching. So I developed 7 different classes. And I love it, because this is my way of helping people. Like, they all end up being classes where they have no idea what energy is, or how to even understand or feel it. And I mean, I'm able to kind of take baby steps with people and open these. It's so real. It's not imaginary. It is very much real. The consciousness of our energy fields is, I mean, we are energy. I mean, everything like in this room, that's not a real room right there. You know, I'm not in that room with the piano. but look at that. I mean, it looks real, but I'm here. I have a real mic. You know, that's made of something. But really, that is molecules. It's energy. We are all energy. So I'm happy to be able to share these things, you know, finally. And it's actually quite fun and rewarding to do that.
Yeah.
After all this time. What's your next question?
Tim.
you know something, it's for me, a little bit, it all of a sudden it just seems like, okay, I'm knocking on the door of almost 60. And it just seems that recently, probably in the last 4 or 5 months, that all of a sudden I've started picking up on things that, you know, like my mom was really deep and she could see and hear things, and she could tell you, don't go down that road today because there's going to be a car accident. Sure enough, there was a car accident.
Right.
But the energy and stuff, it's funny because I've just started to notice it. And then my wife and Dave and other people, obviously in and around our community, have said, you know, quit doubting it, let it happen. And I've kind of relaxed, I guess, for lack of a better term. And there seems to be a lot of stuff coming to me that now that, you know, I've kind of taken that block down.
Yeah.
So, but what gets me is I didn't have anything traumatic happen, and thank goodness. But with that in mind, with it being traumatic and having those experiences, what do you think that is exactly? Like, not exactly, but what do you think that is? Do you think that that's because of, you know, it's a greater force and it's a greater energy or whatever it may be that is going, wake up. You need to, you know, like, instead of just accepting and learning how to accept it, is this like one of those things like, well, you can't lead a horse to water, so we're going to have to make them, you know, that sort of idea? Like, I find that interesting.
It's your time, Tim. It's your time. It's
Gotcha.
like, look, you're on here with Lee. You guys are doing this podcast.
Right.
And this podcast is actually, you know, creating a frequency itself. So every time we take a step into a higher level or trying to help a little bit more or actually asking a question, our inner spirit, I call it, I mean, that's why you'll see my stuff, I call it my beautiful spirit. Well, I'm not calling that because of beauty. I'm calling it because it's just beautiful how our spirit beings are amazing. Is what we are. We are. We are so amazing. Our energy and our spirit. So it's that's the part of you. That part of you is with you since the day you were here born.
Okay.
And so every time we get a little bit freer or we open up and we say, okay, let's open up and let's see what happens. What if that happened? That's when your spirit can kind of step in. And a lot of people, you know, I did the same thing. I chased this elusive, like it's something else outside of me. It's somebody, it's a guide, or it's this, or I'm all, you know, but the more closer I got to it, the more answers I got. It is me. It is me. And my being, yes, we do have our guides. Yes, we do have these helpers. We have them everywhere. And like, so Tim is ready. Tim is like, hey, I think I'm gonna be open. Boom.
Right.
They're ready. They just have to wait. For some reason, there's some sort of rule, a universal rule. I can't explain it, but it's like everything I have to say when I work with people, I've learned there are certain words that I have to say to keep protected. There are certain words that I have to say to open a door. How do I know that? Because I have checks like, is that right? No. Well, what do I have to? And then I have to figure out. So I do have some guidance, but yet it's also that part of me that is connected to the higher power, however we want to say that is. You know, people have, and I've worked with people from all over the world all different kinds of, even in the dead files at that time in my life, they announced me as a New Age healer. She's a New Age healer. And I'm like, Emma, I didn't know I was a New Age healer. I mean, I was more like, you know, I was all about the earth and blessed earth, or the earth, and, you know, the spirits of the earth and nature and animals. And I mean, so I really wasn't trying to portray a New Age healer, but that's how they saw me. So, but I did, I was around all these different people from different places of the world. Some of our clients were like real Tibetan monks I would work on, and real like major like Navajo and Paskayaki medicine men and women, all different kinds, you know, Cherokee. I mean, they just came to where we are at. So I really was fortunate to be able to see the spirit world through the eyes and teachings of others. And that's when I came to realize that we are like a universe. It's universal, really. It's all one. It's just happening in other places, and it kind of became something in that place. Just like they say with the UFOs and the different things, how many times have we seen that in the petroglyphs or in all of the things? I mean, it's the same one. It's the same thing that's in another one over here. I mean, it's, you know, so it's very, very, very interesting. But I think that's what it is. And I believe, Tim, that's what it is for you. You know, you're opening the door.
Yeah, it's very cool. That's all I got to say. Like, it even, you know, my wife, very intuitive and doing shamanism and stuff like that. And, you know, I'll say something, and then I counteract it with doubt. And well, you know, and she'll go, no, stop that. Stop it. Accept what you've just think you've seen or you've heard or you've felt.
Exactly.
And it's so weird because it's a very cool feeling. Like, I mean, it's enlightening. I don't feel any danger. I feel it's actually a little bit exciting, and it in an all around sense, without getting all kind of, well, yeah, we're here. We can get all woo about it, but what happens is, I feel very comfortable with it, and it's like I'm not fighting it, and I didn't know that I was fighting it or if I was holding it back. But as that door opens, man, it's just a really, really cool feeling. And yeah, I'm very interested. This is so cool. I love the show already. You're a great guest, Mercedes.
Oh, yay.
I'd second that.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, you know, my husband, you guys will like this, because, you know, the husband and wife thing or girlfriend boyfriend thing, you know, do we really listen to each other? But the other day I lost my keys, and I thought I really lost my keys. And instead of getting into my higher self and saying, okay, let's see if we can find the keys, or I'm like, oh no, I've lost my keys, you know, and I'm like looking everywhere. And then I looked everywhere the next day. And then he says to me, they're in the garbage. They're in the bag outside. And I'm like, no, they're not. He goes, you threw them in the trash. My intuition says so. And I'm like,
no kidding.
I'm like, no, I didn't throw my keys in the trash.
Yeah, nobody do that.
Yes, you did. And I'm like, no, I didn't. So he said, I'll go look. I said, no, don't, you know, like, and I went out and looked. I opened the bag because we luckily hadn't taken it to the trash where the main trash people were going to come and get it.
Right.
I opened the bag. Luckily, it wasn't a messy bag, but inside the bag, inside of a bag, was my keys.
Dang.
Wow.
So he was right. And his intuition. And then I corrected him, of course. I said, it's not just your intuition. This is your spirit. This is your, you know, like I just you. This is you. This is your abilities. You don't have to say it's an intuition, but it's part of our intuition. But yes, he did it. So I had to give him a high five.
Yeah.
That was really good. I mean, so that just shows you, but you know, he works on it a lot. He works, when we first met, he was not really about that. Like he has really grown as a person that works. Like what we have done here is we came together. We were at each other's throats, literally, during the worst part of it. I mean, we were headed for divorce, or I was headed for death. So I mean, we were under a very bad spiritual attack, and that's why I called the Dead Files. It took 3 years to do that. 3 years for them to come out here, but we were chosen for them. Out of thousands of people, they did pick us, but it was really bad, and so it was through that journey that once we had the exorcisms and deliverances, there was 3 separate ones. Joe and I we got strong. We got connected. And what we did was we unified. And then that's how the unification has set this property to where we're still here. We're doing great. And then life has just become an uphill better. It's better. Everything keeps flourishing in a way, when before it was always trauma, drama, and a lot of pain. So I think that's one thing I can definitely say for real. It is how we bonded and put our our prayers together, our intentions together. And so I'm really proud of him and how he's done really well, because he said, Mercedes, check me, cleanse me. What do you see? Because I could see if he went to the gas station one day, I knew he was at the gas station, something was happening. So I called him, I said, where are you at? And he goes, I just left the gas station. Something is on me. Because you can feel it. They jump on you. And they were really messing with his heart. He's in perfect health, but it felt like somebody was clamping his heart. And it was, and he would go into a deep depression, like serious.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They were jumping us here on the property. And me too. I won't say it wasn't me too. They did that to me. So it was a battle, but he has learned now to do that himself. He can, it hasn't happened. It doesn't happen anymore. Or if it does happen, you can feel it. So I don't need to ramble too much about all that, but that's it's us becoming more aware of what really is there, and being open to the fact that yes, there are beings from other planets, and they are here too. Here, I can't tell you how many nights. Joe, he's out there right now. He'll sit out there at the fire every night, whether it's 1,000 degrees, which it is tonight, or not. And we see things. I used to see things in the sky when I'd sit mainly with him, and I'd say, I would talk to the star people, and I'd say, I would like, can I see a falling star? See if I could outdo Joe's falling stars. And I would get, yes, you can see a falling star. And I'm like, well, how many minutes would that be? And I would get a certain amount of minutes. And sure enough, we count, and there would be a falling star. So that was happening regularly. And it's a beautiful sky here, but he'll see, I've seen a few things, but he's seen many things that come right over our house. And we are in a place where there were the missile silos. I found out, so I'll share a lot of this in the documentary, but this was the CIA headquarters. This was a little podunk out of the note. There's nothing here but dirt in the desert. And there was a little airport back in the 60s. This was ranch land. And this was actually the CIA operation area. They had planes that were going, what was it? It wasn't Japan. It was somewhere. I have the information, but I can't remember. But it was like, this was an operative area. And so the missile silos, the CIA, the mysterious airfields, there's still mysterious airfields. So with the research I did, I found out from a friend, she goes, yes, I actually worked for the people that were part of that. And so I want to interview her too for the next documentary I do. When does the documentary come out? Thank you, Kim Jellin. It's going to come out hopefully at the end of this year or the beginning of the next year, because it's with Worldwide Multimedia. Isn't it amazing? I never made a documentary before, but I was told
That's awesome.
to really make this documentary, and I did. I figured out how to do it, and it did get picked up. So it
Wonderful.
will, yeah, it's going to be really really, you'll be out like, it's amazing. It's
Right
just
on.
amazing what's happened. It's like it has a life of its own. And a lot of the people that showed up for it, you may even know, you guys. So Britt Thomas, do you know Britt Thomas of Paranormal Portal?
Mm.
If you don't,
I
you
do.
should. I love Brent. He's the host. He was my first person to say, Brent, would you be the narrator? Before it really even started, he said yes. And so he was the first person. And Dr. Kelly, Renee Schutz is in it, and Bill Bean, and just all kinds of people are in this documentary that helped me.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So listening to what you're saying about all these things that are going on currently with you, it seems like you are tapped in to your higher consciousness to the point where you're getting all this information. Not only that, but it seems like because you're so tapped in that you're getting more opportunities almost. And you're really tuned in to it, at a high level. And I think, with having interest in the paranormal or having people around you in the paranormal or that sort of thing, the more and more you do and bring that into your life, the more and more in tune you become with your higher self. And the more and more you're able to pick up on clues on things that you maybe should be doing in your life. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Everything I do, and I've been telling people this for a long time. I've been telling this to people before I went back into the media. So before I was in the media, wasn't anything to do with paranormal. But when I came back into this media, it just seemed to be a lot of focus, and just that's what it was. It ends up being this, but yes. So for me, I try to share with people if they can just tune in to that part of them that knows everything, which I believe there's a part of us that knows everything. And once we can really listen and understand, like, that's what you need to do, that's not what you need to do. It's really kind of simple. I think we actually really know what we need to do, and we get swayed in other ways. We're tempted by other things. But really deep inside of us, we know what's good. Like, should I keep smoking? No, you really shouldn't. But I'm going to keep doing it anyway. Well, you really shouldn't. So, I mean, it's kind of like that. It's kind of simple, like, should you or shouldn't you? But yeah, so let's say, for instance, the Coast to Coast with George Norrie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got, once I started the documentary, and I never even knew who that was. I never knew what Coast to Coast was, but I heard Kev Dave Baker talking about it when I would listen to the KBS show. When I first met Bill Bean, I was listening to that show. I was never listening to podcasts or anything, and I fell in love with the KBS podcast, Kev Dave Baker show, and I would listen to every one of them, and they were like you guys. You guys are kind of like them. And so they would talk, and they took all this really cool stuff, and I was just like absorbed. But he would talk about George Norrie, and I'm like, wow, that sounds really cool. And so then once I started the documentary, I started finding out that a lot of the people that were in the documentary have been on Coast to Coast. And then once the documentary actually started filming and wrapping up, 3 more people that were in the documentary got to be on Coast to Coast out of the blue. And I thought, well, I want to be on Coast to Coast. I felt like I was supposed to be on. I was like, you're supposed to be on Coast to Coast. Okay, I'm supposed to be on Coast to Coast. Okay, well, how do I get to be on Coast to Coast? I don't know. So I felt like if I did these steps, if I got these steps done, say, if I got the documentary done, I did this and I did step A, step B, step C, then I would be on Coast to Coast. And I wasn't planning on doing the book but I did. I was told to write the book Through the Veil, my journey of remote viewing, spirit communication, and healing. And that book, I finished that book, and right away I was told, you were supposed to write the book about a better you through prayer and fasting. That's the one that's really, I love this. I love both of them, but that one is a really important, and that's a key to what I believe is how things manifest for me.
Mhm.
And but that's what happened. I did those, so I worked really hard. I mean, plus all my other shows, and I just luckily I have a husband that, you know, I'm okay if I stay up all night writing or doing whatever. He was okay. He was like, "What are you gonna do?" You know, I'm very. They really are very good here about being supportive of me and what Spirit is telling me to do. And so that's what happened. And so sure enough, as soon as I finished those 2 books, all of a sudden the opportunity came, like I could connect with somebody that could tell them there is, well, they found out about me from the working with Archbishop Ronald Enright and Bill Bean. So they somehow knew about me. But it's like you said, it was already set into motion somehow that I was going to do that, and it happened. It happened, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I went on Facebook, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, like I was so shocked, because it's like that was like one of the big things I really wanted to have happen. And so I'm like, now I'm like, well, what do I want to happen now? I mean, because that was kind of an ultimate for me, just like an honor. I remember you talking one time about Lee, about how people, you know, they may not believe what you said. They may not believe your story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've experienced these things, and some people may just call you like, oh, that guy's a quack. That guy's not telling the truth. That guy's making. Well, I've had that same thing happen to me, especially when I started coming out or talking to a remote viewer. Like they're like, what? You're what? I'm like, well, I don't, you know, I was just saying this is what I've been doing. I'm not out here bragging about it. I'm just like trying to help people. But there was things that when we were going on with the property, there were people that were not believing me. They were not believing me, and there were people I knew. There were some family members, and so it was. But you know, I don't let that stop me. I didn't let anything stop me, and I think that's one of the things that people should really take into heart. I do not stop. I do not give up. And I think even if I'm down, or if I could be down for 6 months, but somehow I will still find a way out of that and keep going. And then I'm like living proof that, I mean, like how many times have I almost died? And one time it was a suicide attempt. So around that same time, before the first accident, there was a suicide attempt.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's how low I was. I was very low and caught up in a world that wasn't good for me. And I think God just had to shock me out of that world and do this accident stuff. And maybe that was the only way I could get out of that, you know. Thank God. But I'm totally living proof that by the power that we have in us, that we can accomplish anything, because we have a goal, we have a mission. And I was saying that today, is like, it doesn't matter. You may have a mission that is, you know, helping people or helping children, helping animals. It doesn't have to be like a superhero mission, you know, oh, my mission's to save the world. It doesn't have to be that. We all have our missions, and it's up to us to be open enough to understand, like you guys, this is a mission. You're bringing awareness to people. You're helping in with getting this out through the wires. I mean, that's a calling, you know, to do that.
Yeah.
So,
never quite thought of it like that.
yeah, I mean, you should, because you know, that's what it is, especially right now. This is a very important time
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Yes. Now is
I'm
now
at
is
to the
the
real
time.
thing. Yeah. 'Cause
Uh-oh.
I will ramble a little bit. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Tim, do you have anything else?
No, I'm loving this because
Okay.
to me, this is something that I've always, I shouldn't say interested in, like it's a hobby. But yeah, it's something that's always drawn me to this. And I just always danced around it. And I don't know if it was because of fear or because of just not even knowing or where to start or how would I know and to me, this is with people like Mercedes. What I do is I do a lot of listening because
Yeah.
they're answering questions and it's like, oh, and all the pieces are start to align after a while. I get, okay, I see how this is how things work or should be working or whatever. But yeah, no, I'm just loving this. This is awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes me happy.
One
Well,
thing
I will tell you that I believe that this whole thing, one of the things I'm supposed to say is that, so the book Prayer and Fasting, so that when that people are like, oh, prayer and fasting, oh my God. But no. Like, it's not like what you might think, oh, we have to just, do hymns and things like that. No, this is a universal thing that all over the world, all through time, people have done. And so I was not doing this at the same time. I was literally doing juice cleansing, a lot of those juice fasting and juice cleansing for a lot of my life. So I knew how to do that. Then I started doing intermittent fasting, but I never understood really how to do that correctly. I thought it was one thing, but then I realized through a lot of research, there's a lot about it. So I learned a lot about it. In fact, I put the two together. When I combined the two together, I had just gotten the diabetes 2 diagnosis. So this was about 2.5 years ago. And that literally, I thought I'm dead after that because my dad had died when I was 21 because of diabetes 2. It was like my fear of my life that I was always healthy, but all of a sudden the pandemic and the stress and all that, it just caught up with me. And I was gaining weight and I couldn't understand like, why am I, what's happening? And so it was the stress, the insulin was building. So when I didn't even know what insulin resistance was at that time. I never had heard that word, but I was given the information and started to study and studied with a person called Dr. Jason Fung. After my diagnosis, I went to pray because I was crying and praying. And then within 3 days, that's a window, 3-day window, I was given the person to really start researching. Well, that's when I combined it and started finding out that if you use prayer and fasting together, that is one of the keys to really cleanse you and keep you clear. So if you have something you got to do, you got to work on somebody, or you want to be really clear, you learn to the discipline of fasting because it's in every, Lee, you probably know this. It's in every religion. We don't want to talk about religion, but all of them through time have done fasting.
Yeah. Well, I've been going through a bout of depression for over the last 3-4 days.
Okay.
And just hearing you talk makes me realize I'm in control of all that. I'm not out of control. I'm actually in control of that. And it's my decision, just like anybody else, to be in that spot or not be. We think that we've lost control of our feelings and what's going on around us. But you know what? That's just a mindset. And, you bringing up the things that you brought up tonight made me realize that again. It is so quick for me or anybody else to lose track of that. And going back to self and realizing that you have the power and it's nobody else that has the power, it's you.
Yeah. And it can take, like I said, it can take sometimes I have like emotional eating. And so that if I get sad or upset, that is what I would go to. I go to that. And that's just part, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I mean, so it's like that's my one thing.
Mhm.
But learning this type of discipline too, which I wasn't really a disciplined person. So this type of discipline it's been slow to kind of learn it, but it's helped me to realize that when I do this, I feel happy.
Yeah.
It takes away that sadness and it clears me to make me feel happy. I also do believe though that unwanted energies can attach to us and help us make us sad. So you can go to Walmart, and I used to do this and I never understood it. I'd go to the mall and then I'd walk in there all happy and then I'd be like just mad, or I'd be happy, or not happy, but sad. And I never understood that. Most of my life I was an empath. I never, I don't want to make that the empath word, but I was, and I never knew I was. So I would absorb all these energies. So literally, I think that the fasting and the praying, and I'm talking about just, if you don't want to call it prayer, you could just say words of whatever wisdom, whatever you want to say. But mantras or whatever, inspirational words, it all works. It's a frequency. And
There you are.
We are, with our spirit connected to the higher power. It is the key. And all you got to do is try it. Just try it. I mean, what's it going to hurt to try it? And the book, I've got these people now. I never knew people even read the book, right? People reading the book, and they're like,
"What?
They're reading the book?" And I'm like, "What?" You're like, and they're making videos saying, "Mercedes, get this book because I'm happy." Like I'm walking around in New York, and they're like, "I'm fasting today, and I learned this." And I'm like, "What? Wow, okay." They're it's happening because I guess it's just something that people needed a wake-up call. Like it's so simple, but nobody's talking about it. It's a simple little thing that we could each do. Like how many times when you guys were kids, and this is the simplest thing. When I was a kid, we'd play outside. My mom, we'd have our dinner, we'd play, and then we'd come inside, and I don't even make a glass of milk or something, and then we'd go to bed. We didn't eat a lot. I just don't remember. I don't remember us having these big meals or snacks or whatever. And so we'd go to bed. So like I would probably not eat at 6 o'clock on till I woke up the next day, and that is considered a fast. That would have been like 8. If I go to bed if I stop eating at 8, and then I would wake up at 8. And I want to eat, or if I wait till 10, that's 12, 14 hours. I have not died. I went to sleep. I made it. My body survived just fine. And I've done 14 hours with no food. And what does the body do? That body, our bodies, then takes that and it works on our body. It works on healing us. It takes the things that we need and removes them or brings the ones that we need. It works. That's how the body works. And so this is what heals me of the diabetes too. Like the doctors were shocked. It was 8 weeks. And I brought the levels down, and she's like, "What did you do?" They wanted me to be on medicine. And I said, "I just don't want to be on this medicine."
Nope.
And it was like almost like they said it was almost like a life sentence. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I know I don't have to do that. And so that's what happened. So I really want people that are here listening or will listen in the future to realize that we have everything we need within us to at least give us the awareness or the signals of what it is that we could do with how to heal ourselves, or who can we ask to bring people in to come to us to heal us? Yes. Can we do that? Yes. What do we need? Can we just say, "Please, will you come help?" Yes, we actually can. We can just say it in a way like, "I really need some help here. I really need to bring in what it is that I need. And I need you to make it so clear to me that I will not miss it, that I need that sign. And make it so clear that I'm just absolutely not able to see it, but please make it that clear. You just have to really be accurate of how you ask for things.
Yeah, this book that you're talking about, where can people find that?
On Amazon and on Barnes and Noble. So far, the Amazon seems to be I've ordered from them too. It happens really quick, and the books are nice. They're really nice books. I'm like really happy what they look like. So that when you put in the name Mercedes, Lucke, Benedict, and this I just get a kick out of. You put that on Amazon, and all 3 books pull up, because I did also a coloring activity book. Threw that in there too. I was told to do that for my husband's art, which is Beautiful Spirit Interactive Art in Motion, and it's you've probably seen that, Lee, where he's created these sculptures, but they move.
Oh,
and they're interactive, and so I kept seeing them as he's making them, and I thought let's make a coloring book so the kids will see these sculptures come to life. And that's part of like another thing Spirit told me to do. And then it's at Tucson Botanical Gardens right now, and then they wanted the book. So next thing you know, they are selling the book there.
That's cool.
I know.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's amazing. And so the next one is going to, after August 31st, we're going to the Desert Museum, which is really even a bigger place. And so we're going to have a tour. But again, who told me to do that? My Spirit. She said that you need to start a 501c3 nonprofit. It took me a year from the time I heard that to start that. And then it sat for a year because we didn't know what to really do with it. It's to help bring awareness to nature in the Sonoran Desert, the animals in the Sonoran Desert, desert life through art, music, video, and sculpture. That's all we knew. That was the goal. And so the next thing you know, Joe does get allowed to help. If we can make them, like that show, if you make it, it will come. So he made
That's about it right there in a nutshell, too.
He made them, and then that's when the Tucson Botanical Gardens opened their doors to us. So it's really about listening. I listen to my spirit, my guidance, and I have faith in that. And that's why it works out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
a good
It's
lesson for everybody, just to listen to, their inner self, right? Their inner voice.
It is, and it's more than just that. It's more than just a voice. It's really
And knowing.
It's really your ethereal being. It's your being. And so, like Lee, for instance, I'm saying, Tim, you've never had an experience like Lee has had. Have you had paranormal experiences or?
Yes, but not that I've been able to delve deep enough into quite yet.
Okay. Well, but it's kind of like what Lee's experienced is almost like he's out of his body, or he's remembering things that have happened, but it's not like it's literally on a different level of what is transpired within him. And
we're going to have to start to cut it short here.
Oh, okay.
Because we're getting super
We
close.
are an hour. Oh my
okay.
gosh. But anyway, so it's kind of like that. And the books are on Amazon, and then the prayer and fasting is like a little manual. It's easy to read, but it really helps you learn about autophagy and takes you through the history and the different. It's really that's what it's supposed to be, a guide.
Huh. All right.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. I think people can get a hold of you on Facebook if they want to talk with you and that sort of thing, and find your books. Can you hold on for a minute, because I have a question, a follow-up question after the show.
Sure.
All right.
No, I'm Mackenzie. Mackenzie says no.
Oh,
you're gonna kill me.
I'm Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Thank you to the audience. Thank you all. I wish I could have been on chat, but I have been talking. I haven't been able to be on chat.
All right. Well,
I like the show. I'm going to come back and be on your chat.
Yep. Definitely, for sure. All right. With that, here's the outro, guys. We'll see you next week.